25-year-old woman has been struck down by the bubonic plague after eating infected meat from a rodent. The woman, from Mongolia, is being kept in isolation along with 19 other people she is known to have come into contact with. It is the second possible case of the plague known as the Black Death in Mongolia, as another, unrelated, case is being investigated. And in neighbouring China, there are fears a 3-year-old boy is also suffering from the bubonic plague, reports the Daily Star. 3 dead rats, believed to have been killed by the disease, were found in a village in Menghai County in the southwest Yunnan province. Menghai has instigated a level 4 emergency response in a bid to stop the spread of the plague, it has been reported. Earlier this year, a 15-year-old boy is believed to have been killed by the bubonic plague in Mongolia. The teenager is thought to have eaten infected marmot meat, which had been hunted by a dog. He was admitted to hospital, while dozens of other people were quarantined after cases of the deadly infection were confirmed in China. Narangeral, head of Ministry of Health in Mongolia, said, "This is the second plague in our country." Cases of marmot plague have also been reported in Inner Mongolia, China. In this regard, Russia began to take measures to ban marmot hunting. While our neighbours are paying close attention, our citizens are being warned not to hunt and eat marmots illegally, and to follow their advice. 2 people died from the plague in the Inner Mongolia autonomous region of Bayannur last year, after contracting the disease from eating the raw meat of a marmot, a type of rodent. Marmots are a known carrier of the plague bacteria, but a World Health Organization official in Ulaanbaatar, the capital of Mongolia, said consuming raw marmot meat and kidney is a folk remedy for good health. According to the WHO, the bubonic plague can kill an adult in 24 hours if it is left untreated. It is a bacterial disease which is spread by fleas living on wild rodents, such as marmots. Bayannur in Mongolia is now on a level 3 alert because of the bubonic plague cases, a warning that will stay in place until the end of the year. 2 people died from the plague in the region last year, after contracting the disease from eating the raw meat of a marmot, a type of rodent. It means people must take extra precautions when it comes to stopping the human-to-human transmission of the infection. They are also being told to avoid hunting, skinning, or eating any animals which could be potential carriers. The bubonic plague was responsible for the worst pandemic humanity has ever seen, when it killed an estimated 50 million people in Europe during the Middle Ages. The bubonic plague is one of 3 plagues caused by the same bacteria. It causes agonising swollen lymph nodes, leaves those infected coughing and suffering from both the fever and the chills. Known as the Black Death in the Middle Ages, the bubonic plague swept its way through Europe, leaving tens of millions of people dead, more than half the continent's entire population. It is an infection of the lymphatic system, and can also lead to seizures, muscle cramps and gangrene of the toes, fingertips, tip of the nose and the lips. The same fleas that infect humans with the bubonic plague are also responsible for the septicemic plague and the pneumonic plague. Anyone infected with the bubonic plague has to have been bitten by a flea containing the deadly bacteria, or by eating a plague-infected animal, such as the marmots in Mongolia. antibiotics adhere to the bubonic plague, being contained but never wiped out, and they are only effective if administered quickly. Those who are treated in time often make a full recovery. The WHO has now categorized the bubonic plague as a re-emerging disease, although stresses it would not be as serious as the COVID-19 pandemic. Each year, up to 2,000 people across the globe are infected with the bubonic plague, with many surviving. Dr. Shanti Kapagoda, an infectious diseases doctor at Stanford Healthcare, told news site Heathline, "Unlike in the 14th century, we now have an understanding of how this disease is transmitted. We know how to prevent it. We are also able to treat patients who are infected with effective antibiotics.